Hey, this is Sebas from Nextmv, and today I'm going to be showing you how to get started with our new CLI. So the first step, of course, is to install it. And to achieve that, you can use any Python package manager of your choice. The only requirement is Python 3.10. So let's just get started by checking the Python version that I'm on. It's 3.13, so that works great. In my case, I'm going to be using UV, but you can use any package manager such as pip or pipx. I'm going to be going with UV, so UV tool install Nextmv. Okay, and to make sure that I have it installed, I'm just going to get the help menu for the CLI. So there it is, the Nextmv CLI is installed. And the best way to get started and to get a lay of the land of what's possible with Nextmv and via this CLI is just to run my init command. So let's get started with that. It's going to give me a welcome message. You can use your arrow keys to navigate. So let's go. Are you working with an existing model, or do you want to start with a template? I think a template is a great starting point. And let's keep using Python. Why not? It's going to ask me about the type of input and output. So JSON will use standard in, standard out with JSON, and then multifile is going to read or write one or more files to a directory. So I'm going to go with multifile. And it's going to ask me for the location of my template. So yeah, the default location is great. So it's going to tell me that a Python multifile template was initialized at this location. And what that means is I get a directory with a decision model, essentially. In this case, it's just a hello world example. So it has a main.py with my code, an app.yaml, which is what we call the app manifest. So it's instructions for running your Nextmv application. And then it gives me a sample input to work with in this inputs folder. Now it's going to ask me if I want to start a local run, which I do. It's going to now change directories to that location, and it's going to ask me for where I can find my inputs to start that run. So the inputs location, as I mentioned, contains a set of example inputs, so that works great. And it's going to start the local run. As this tutorial progresses, it's going to show you the commands that it is executing. So a local run, what it does is it runs your executable code. And then it has a structured way in which it stores inputs, outputs, metrics, charts, logs, etc. It's very organized. So it's just a great way of working locally with decision models. Now it's going to ask me if I want to get the results of that local run, that is identified by this ID. So yes, I want to get the results. Now it's showing me the metadata for that local run. We can see that it succeeded, and then it's telling me that it saved the outputs of that run to this location. So here we can get the output of what happened after I executed my decision model. So here it is. And all that local information is stored under this .nextmv location. So the Nextmv CLI is not configured yet. Do you want to configure it? Yes, I do. And to configure the CLI, all you need is your Nextmv API key. So I'm going to get mine, and I'm going to have it ready in my clipboard. All right, I have my API key ready. I'm going to paste it. And now my CLI is configured. So now I'm going to go ahead and sync my local application. It's going to ask me for an ID of a cloud application that I want. I'm just going to leave it blank because I want whatever random ID it can give to me. So it produced this random ID, and of course it's going to ask me if I want to create that cloud application. So yes. Now what it's doing for syncing is it's taking that local run and pushing it or syncing it with my remote cloud application. And we can take a look at that in my Nextmv console. So this is my application that ends in ZX. This is the Nextmv console where I can explore my Nextmv application, my remote Nextmv application. So here we can see in my runs that I have an external run that was tracked. And in my console, I have a summary. I have the output that I produced, the input that was used, metadata for that app, logs, and in this case, charts. All right, so for the next step, you need an active Nextmv plan. I do have an active Nextmv plan, so I'm gonna hit yes. And then it's asking me if I wanna push my app, which just means deploying my app. By pushing the app, what it's gonna do is it's gonna produce a set of endpoints that are gonna be production ready so that you can plug your Nextmv application into any production system. So it's going to take this local executable code for my decision model, and it's going to send it to that remote Nextmv cloud application we just saw. It's of course going to use the same app ID that I gave it. Now it's going to ask me if I want to create a new version. So it's a best practice to always tag your code after you make any changes to it. So a version is like a git tag for your executable code. So yes, I want to create a new version. Now it's going to ask me if I want to link my version to an instance. And an instance is just the name of an endpoint, essentially. So it's like a specific destination that you can point your application to. I can, for example, name my instance production because it's going to be my base instance for my application or my base endpoint. And it's going to ask me if I want to create it because it doesn't exist. Yes, I do. And now that I have created, I have pushed my application, I created a version, and I linked it to an instance, I can see what that looks like from my console. So in my overview, I see that I have a latest pushed executable by me, of course. And then I have my version that was created. And I also have my production instance, which is linked to that version. And I can just use my production instance if I want to. Now, do I want to start a remote run? Yes, I do. And what's the difference is that now my application is not going to be running in my computer anymore, but rather I'm going to be running that cloud application we just saw. My inputs are in my inputs folder, of course. Sure, I'm going to use the Nextmv cloud run create command for that. And it's going to give me a run ID. Now, in my console, I can see that I have that run ID, which is my remote run. It's going to ask me, do you want to now get the results for that? Sure. And this is the metadata of my results. I can see that it succeeded, and it tells me that it's saving my run outputs to this location. So this is my output, which should coincide with the one that I have after running locally. So yes, it does. And in my console, I can see that my remote application was succeeded. I have my output, my input, the metadata of this, and then again, my logs and any charts that I produce or any visuals. And the nice part about this tutorial is that once you're done, it gives you a nice summary of all the commands that were executed to be able to achieve what we just saw. So this is it for now. Thank you so much, and I'll see you again in the next one. Bye.